Woo! And we are rolling, officially rolling. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good evening. We welcome you to episode 24 of Terrorisk.
It's been a while since I've been on.
Oh yeah, tonight's episode featuring Brendan. He hasn't been around for a while. He's been off gallivanting, doing your own shit.
I'm just tired.
Yeah?
I hate working.
Oh yeah, and you work like what, like 6 days a week or some shit?
I was for a little bit because I just got a bunch of, I don't know. I told him last time I'm not working more than 40 hours.
Oh, you told him that?
Yeah.
He was probably pissed when you said that.
I'm sorry. 40 hours isn't fucking enough. I don't ever want to work more than 40 hours. I think 40 hours is already too much.
Yeah, it's full time right there.
Yeah, but it's too much work to life ratio. I don't like it.
True.
You get 2 days, so like one day is like full on rest, and then one day you can get all your shit done, go right back to work. It's like you don't really have time for yourself.
At least you got to recently see your old friend.
Yeah, I saw JoJo.
Yeah, that must have been nice.
We did some songs, sang some Beatles songs together.
Does he have any kids?
No.
Or
I don't think anyone should have kids anymore.
We have enough.
We have enough people. There's too many people. Like, stop.
You know, that's actually funny you mentioned that. I was with Carmen at 7-Eleven, and we were getting beer. And I was looking through the beers, and I was like, there was literally this, I think it was like some kind of dogfish head or something, but it was called Raging Bitch. And they were just selling it at 7-Eleven, and I was like, this is nice. They got like kids coming in here and just seeing that. And then Carmen was explaining to me, he was like, well, honestly, that's the fact that there's more products like that prominent being marketed, it just means that there's less kids in the world. We're becoming a population of more grown-ups than kids. So things are going to be marketed a little...
Yeah, because I think some people have kids because they think it's like the thing to do as a human.
Well, it is the thing to do as a human. It is.
There's already too many people. Like, not everyone needs to have fucking kids.
I mean, we do if we want to keep the species going.
And a lot of people, I think, have kids because, like, they think it'll make them happy. And, like, that's, like, not a reason to have a kid.
Well, regardless, no matter how you look at it, if people keep having kids and our species goes on, that's just what it is. If they don't have kids, then it's not, honestly, it's less altruistic than that. Like, we don't understand, like, how bad a deficit of birth rates could actually be for an economy. Like entire countries could just, like, go kaput. People lose their entire retirement funds once, like, the labor market just shorts. And, like, there's no young people to fill out jobs. And suddenly you're, like, everything's off kilt because you have like people who are living too long just sucking up social benefits because that's any democratic society looks after their elders. But if there's too many elders, then the kids are fucked because they got too many old people sucking up resources.
I never thought about it like that. Yeah. Still, we should like take a break. Because it's like, the population's going to increase more and more, and it's already too many people.
I think we're already
we should let some people die before we make more people.
I think plenty of people are already like at this point where they're like, I think we're already at a birth rate deficit. Like, I already think we're at that point because like it's just the times we live in. Less and less people are like. First of all, there's the philosophical angle where it's like, what's the point? Anyone with half a brain would put two thoughts into it, and they're like, there's really no point of doing this. Second of all, it's also like. Just like materially, you're like, I don't want to bring a child into this world. This world sucks.
I think also more like adults now, like people our age are like, don't even know what the fuck's gonna happen or what we're doing. Like we don't have as much faith in the security of fucking capitalism as people used to have. We're like, yeah, this is gonna the whole system's gonna fucking shut down any day now. So why even make any fucking long-term plans?
I think it's okay to like revert to like older mentalities where it's like, well, if everything's shit and if everything's going to the shitter, I have an advantage right now. I could create a dynasty. Like I could create my own dynasty. Have some kids, teach them well, teach them my ways, arm them to survive in this world and excel.
Yeah, just the fact that you need to be armed to survive in this world and be it's just not a world you want to bring anyone into. I think like.
What are you talking about? You think the world was ever inherently naturally nice? You think you think the earth was ever a nice place even before society corrupted it? No.
I think it can be.
It was always fucking brutal. It was always messed up. It was always like shitty, dude. If anything, like we're at the best point we could ever possibly live in.
Well, I'd be dead because I have diabetes. So like 100
Yeah,
so
like,
years ago, I wouldn't
100
even be here.
That's what I like to think. I'm like 100 years ago, you'd be fucking dead, dude. You gotta clean up your act. Like, because like, you know, I think I say that, I bring that up that way because I'm like, we take it for granted. Like we're sitting here and thinking like, oh yeah, things will always be this good. Things will always be like this secure, or this is the way things were meant to be. I was like, no, there's no rule in natural law that says like we should be protected. We should feel safe from our community. It's like, that's not a necessity. That's not like a need for nature. Nature doesn't give a fuck. Nature will be like,
No, I think like every other mammal or animal like has their own security measures that they take. You know, if you're with the herd and traveling as a society of animals, you have protection, you have security in certain things.
no, I think when the chips are down and like you really put people in a situation where it's either me or you, they're generally gonna pick like it's
Well,
me.
like say if you're like an animal that is being hunted by a predator, yeah, the weakest and smallest whatever will get left behind when they all run and a lion comes in. Yet the sickest, the smaller is gonna fall behind, and that's the one that's gonna get eaten. But there's still a lot of the time where they like mob up and go like, no, you're not touching us. You're not fucking touching anyone today. There's fucking 60 of us and there's 4 of you. Fuck off.
But the
And,
animals
like,
that can do that are usually armed and shit with like hyenas at least have teeth and like claws. And
yeah, but they're also predators. I'm talking about like alpacas and fucking like elephants and shit. Like sometimes when you haven't eaten for days as a lion, you get bold and you're like, we're gonna fuck it. That's the only thing that's close. Kill the fucking elephant. Go after the. I've watched videos where like a lion's like ate an elephant or hyenas like ate an elephant, and it's pretty sad because they can't really kill it quickly, so they just start eating it alive.
yeah, it's probably the tastiest that way.
I can't imagine elephant. Elephant has to be a last resort. You're like, oh fuck, oh that thing's so fucking huge, dude. This is gonna suck. Let's fucking go. Let's try to kill this fucking mammoth. That's this huge fucking like this fucking juggernaut of a creature. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like you wouldn't unless and his skin is fucking leather. But like no, I want to eat chicken. It's like the skin's so fucking delicate and crispy. I don't want to eat a fucking elephant where I'm like ripping off like 3 inches of fucking skin to get to like whatever shitty meat it probably is. Like it can't be good.
Good point. Good point.
And it takes fucking forever. It's just a hassle. It's like the only reason you went after that elephant is because there was nothing else you can catch at the time, and you haven't eaten in like a fucking week, and you're just getting desperate, and you're like, I'll fucking suck it up and eat the fucking elephant meat.
And it's a pain in the ass to even
But
get
then
it.
the other elephants might just be like, no, fuck you, we're gonna help in this one. They're really compassionate, so you have to deal with that shit. It's not like they're gonna be like, oh shit, they got Bob, keep running. They're gonna be like, they think they're gonna fuck with Bob, and they just run back and all, like fuck off. And the lion's like, okay, what are we gonna do? They're fucking elephants.
Yeah.
Like still, like they're just like they're not predators, but they can fuck us up.
Because they're big.
But they have killed elephants and eaten them. I don't know how we got into this. Oh, about animals.
Yeah, so people are just naturally are naturally selfish, but that's like a survival mechanism. It's going to take a lot to get over that monkey brain aspect of society. Like we can't just we should wish that away with good intentions.
Well, it depends. Like in New York City, I remember one time I was sick in my stomach and I was hunched over a garbage can in the freezing cold. I'm like, it's raining. I'm like, violently puking. And like there's like people just walking by, and like this one like guy in this fucking suit was like, like, excuse me, you're in the fucking garbage, puking your brains out. I need to throw something in there. Can you fuck? Like, I was an inconvenience to him. It wasn't like a human thing. But like, I've been in Texas to where like I like puked on the street, and like I get my head back up, and all of a sudden I was like, hey, I got a bottle of water. We ran in. What else do you need? I'm like, so like in different situations where there's not as much bullshit going on, people become more compassionate. I think like in a big city like this where you're desensitized to it. They say, yeah, the person's fucking overdosing over there. Well, fuck him. I gotta catch this bus in 2 minutes. You don't have the time or the energy or the capacity to stop and care for another human being. There's 50 fucking thousand people around me right now. I don't give a shit. I just have to keep moving because, I might stop for this guy and then this guy's going to come over. Hey, yo, man, you got a cigarette? You got $1? Hey, want to check out my album? What about it? It's like you just have to be like, you have to put on a mean face and just fucking go. Where in Texas, you can be like, hey, how's it going? Like, it's very white, yes. Like, just play like super like, do. Oh, nice day, isn't it? And you won't get hassled. If I go to where my bus stop is here and go to Bay Street, go to Bay Street and Victory Boulevard in Staten Island to get my bus, and I'm like, hey, how are you? They're gonna try to get anything they can from me. Everyone around there is like, yo, man, you got $1? Actually, I need like 20 though. Hey, man, you got a cigarette? You got a cigarette? Yeah, can I have a cigarette too? Like, I pulled out a cigarette once there. And I lost 6. Yeah, I could have been like, no, and then been awkward sitting there just like, fuck you. Like, I'm pretty sure I can be like, no, fuck off. And nothing bad's going to happen to me. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it'll get crazy. I don't know.
No, that's such a very...
There's a lot of fucking, like, there's people just like overdosing, like, on the ground, just like flipping around and shit. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what am I going to do? I can't do anything.
No, that's funny because it is such a nuanced situation to think like it's not in every bus stop where you pull out a cigarette and you're going to get raided. It only happens to be Tompkinsville at that hour because that's the hour where the people all get together before they go and get their methadone or Suboxone or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so. But I'm like, dude, it's like 7-something in the morning.
Yeah,
and
they're all there.
And I'm like, you guys stay awake. Make sure I get the coffee so I can get to work. And I'm like out of it. I'm like, I don't even want to be a person yet.
Yeah.
I just want to like be like fall asleep on the bus and like wake up right before my stop and like, okay, gotta get to work. And these people, like, everyone's out there just like walking down like, where's the fucking bitches at? I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude, shut the fuck up. It's fucking 8 in the morning. How do you have this energy? And if I had this energy, I'd be working more. Okay?
True.
Get a fucking job. You're up already. It's so much easier to get a job than to have to go back and forth and scream obscenities and fucking like say random crazy. Yeah, most of these people are mentally ill. A lot of them are just crazy and they'll just walk up and down and like nobody takes care of them. And somehow they're just like walking the streets.
They're allowed to walk the streets.
New York is full of people with extreme like mental that need to be somewhere that like something happened down the line to where like they did whatever, their family left them. They have no friends, and then now they just went slowly even crazier, like beyond like the point of being able to like they're feral people. They're feral. There's feral humans in New York City. There is, and these people were left unchecked somehow. They got thrown into the street, and they're just like fucking candy sticks. I'm gonna straight up prick the motherfucker.
Yeah.
And they're just standing, and then you're just like, how are they allowed to be here? Is nobody doing anything? They're people like, we don't know what to fucking do with this guy. What are you gonna do with him? Give him a job?
I mean,
he's talking to nobody right now and screaming, and people are just walking by him, and he's like, he does the same thing every day for 4 hours a day. Just leave him alone. Just fucking, he's the guy who goes to fucking 32nd Street every fucking day and goes, yeah, fucking straight up, brick the motherfucker candy sticks. Like that's just who they are. This one guy who's just like, caw, and you're just like, dude, it's fucking 9 in the morning, man. I just got a hangover. I just tried to go to fucking work and this shit. And then like they get normal for 1 second and be like, caw. Yo, you got a cigarette? And I'm like, wait, you can communicate? The fuck you doing cawing like a bird? It's like, no, man. Yeah, he have a cigarette. Thanks, man. Caw. Like, the normal just came out for 1 second to ask me for a smoke. Because, I don't know, I guess I'm mentally aware a little bit, like drugs and cigarettes and shit, and just like little treats.
It's the isolation. It's what you said before, how they have no one. That's what'll really drive you crazy.
But at that point, it's like, I wonder how, like, you walk down the block, you want to dress nice, you want to make sure you look presentable going into stores. Imagine how free it must be to go to that point of like homelessness and insanity to where you're just out there just like looking like a fucking psychopath and you don't give a shit. And you've accepted that you're just this weird in the background character and nobody gives a shit because they can't even talk to you. So they're just like, don't see that. And you're just like, you can take a shit on the fucking sidewalk in front of like thousands of people and not give a fuck. That, if anything's the epitome of punk rock, it's a mentally ill homeless person. Because punk rockers do their fucking mohawk every day. These people don't give a shit. They shit their pants. They smell like crap. They just walk around saying random fucking crazy shit. Like,
Yeah, but it's still scary to live like that because like you can't trust anything.
well, we also don't know what they're experiencing. They might be hallucinating the whole fucking time, and it's scary.
Well, just because you're like when you hallucinate, it's not always visual. Sometimes it's just like where your mind starts like going in this like fucked up tangent of believing in like it could be conspiracy
I feel
theories.
like one day I'm just gonna be the weird fucking psycho.
Dude, I've been there
mentally-
before. I know what that feels like. Where
on
I've
the
taken
corner just saying like random shit, talking to themselves, and people just walk by like they don't even ask for money. That's how crazy they don't even like they have no concept of what society is. They're living in an alternate reality, and they're somehow physically their body is there, and your body is there, but you are not. Your souls, your consciousnesses are not in the same dimension at this point. They are in another world. Everything they see, smell, taste, and hear is different than what you see. They are like living in a like we also don't know if I'm looking at this color and you see the same thing. We agree on it, but how do we know what you see? You know, I could be a completely different physical object to you, and I have no idea of knowing.
Well, they
because
say,
we're all taking in the same stimuli. So I see the stimuli, and it looks like red to me, and it looks like red to you. But your red could look different than my red, but we both can agree on it because we're looking at the same code.
yeah, they say truth is in the
It's
eye
the
of the
code.
beholder.
We're
Truth
looking at
is
the
in
same ones and zeros,
truth
but we
is in
might
the
be a
eye-
different processing
Truth is in the eye of
system.
the beholder. That's it. Simple. You could just sum all that whole rant up into that one saying. It's true. Truth is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. I don't even know how we got here. Crazy, but I ramble a lot too. I can imagine like 40 years, 50 years from now, my brain just starts deteriorating, and I just like end up that like all my family's gone, and I just end up like that crazy person who's just on the corner, just like talking to himself.
I think you only truly become crazy when you think that as a person you're finished learning. Like you've learned all there is to learn. Like as long as you stay as a person consciously who's like, no, there's always something more to learn from me. There's always something more for me to like figure out. Then you're not crazy.
And this is gonna piss off a lot of Christians, but I noticed the crazier the person is, the more
Sure they are.
psycho-religious they become.
The more sure they are.
They
the more
become
self-
like, Jesus talked to me, and blah blah blah, and there's normal like what we call sane people who are like, I believe in Jesus Christ. And it's like, you're not that different than the guy who thinks Jesus is actually talking to him in his head on the corner of Broadway and 52nd Street. So that means believing without proof,
Believing in.
believing without proof of religion is a form of psychosis. It is insanity.
Yeah.
How is that not insanity? To be like, I have no idea, but
Because
I
what-
know this to be true.
because-
Because that is,
But then
you are delusional.
But then what's the alternative?
It might be true.
Exactly. So that's why they're
But-
not insane.
But you're still kind of delusional.
But they still
To
might be right.
accept
But they
that,
still might be right though.
You're accepting something based on, like, reading some book that was written by, like, retarded people.
You know
2,000
why?
years
It's because
ago.
they're not functioning off logic. They're functioning on faith. What do you think? You think faith is
Faith
based on
is
reason?
Psychosis, I think.
No, faith is necessary. Faith is a very necessary component for a lot of logical outcomes.
Yes, but if you believe in that, you should also, like, you have faith, but the faith should be tempered with, okay, there is the possibility that I might be wrong, and this whole Bible shit that I believe in is fake. You have to have that in
That's
the
the
back.
point,
So
but
people who are
that's-
so devout that they say they know, that is crazy.
But
to
can
me.
I tell
There's
you something?
no way you can
What
know.
if the more devout they are outwardly, inwardly, they're even more insecure. That's usually what it is. People usually project the opposite of their insecurity. So if they're more deeply insecure about like whether or not their religion is legit, then outwardly they're going to be more oppressive about it. Whereas a person who just like has faith and inwardly they're like, you know what, it's okay if I'm wrong. At least I did what I could. I lived righteously. You know, outwardly they're going to be less oppressive about it. They're going to be like,
also
dude,
like I've realized also like being in, like situations I've been in doing drugs and shit, like a lot of the most crazy people I've known, the most drug addicted like people are just like, yeah, but I believe in it. Like they're so convicted about this Jesus
But
shit.
they're
I'm like,
most insecure.
how is that helping you?
but deep down,
How
they're
the fuck is that helping you?
but deep
Because you
down-
just fucking shot up heroin and almost died in front of me, and you're like, but I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. Is that your scapegoat for being a complete fucking loser? Because we're fucking losers right now, buddy. Look at us. We're not following Jesus. We are doing the opposite. We're doing heroin. Like, chill out, man. Like, get sober and then do the religious thing. But then a lot of people get sober and they go overly religious. Like, I don't do drugs anymore, and the Lord Jesus saved me, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I went to AA a lot for years and all these other things. And I'm like, some of them go like the religious thing, they get addicted to that, like the opposite. And they become psychopaths, and they become super judgmental, even though they just stopped, like, fucking doing drugs and drinking and stealing from people. And they're like, the Lord Jesus, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you shut the fuck up. You just sucked dick for crack a year ago. Like, shut up. And your brain is fucking, some of them are crazy, and they, like, need to take medication. Like, a lot of the craziest people I've known were hyper-religious, which makes me feel like it's a form of psychosis.
But you know what? At the same time, like, you can't say those people are really bad people inherently. They're trying to be good.
No, nobody's inherently bad.
No. The people that I know that are inherently bad, they're just bad people, are like the opposite of religious. They're completely atheists, like godless fucking heathens. Literally.
Atheism is
They're
also a
sociopaths.
form of religion, though. I think you should always just be on the fence. If you don't know, you have to be on the fence. Or otherwise, you're just even to say I know there is no God is the same type of crazy as saying I know there's a God to me, because you don't. Stop saying you know something that you don't. I know that God isn't real because they wrote this thing and blah blah. Blah. You don't. Even if the religion wasn't right, you don't. You just assume as this fucking like this. You have a very finite mind and consciousness as a human being. Most of your shit's run by instinct, and you're going to, in your few moments of being able to speculate, are gonna say, "There's no God." You don't know if there isn't other higher forms of consciousness and beings that go beyond like carbon-based life forms that like run shit. How do you not know that? Like, how do you know that that's not a thing? You also can't know if it's not a thing. Like, I think agnostic would be the most sane thing. It's like, we don't know. There might be. Let's just try to be cool. Let's just try to be nice and like not be a dick. But then the Christians are crazy because they'll tell you like, oh, you can't just get to heaven just by
I think
being...
the Muslims are worse than the Christians.
But in Texas, the Christians, they like, you believe in God, Jesus. I'm like, I don't know. I like a lot of the Bible. Some of it resonates with me, but some is like, yeah. But like they don't let you stop there. They don't just respect your fucking decision. That's the problem with them. They don't just say, okay, that's what you believe in. They go, yes, but Jesus said this, and the Bible says, like, dude, now you're being violent. This is a form of violence. Now you're trying to destroy my beliefs. That's like if I went up to you and said, this is why the fucking Bible's wrong, and I'm going to change your mind. How would you feel if I did that to you? And they do that shit, and they're like, but it says this. I'm like, okay, it says that in a book that you don't even know who wrote it. It's like, yeah, but it says this. And I'm like, are you crazy? How are you just sitting here looking me dead in the eyes, really serious, going, but the book says it. And I'm like, okay, I could write something down, and it doesn't mean what I wrote is real. Harry Potter says this, and what the fuck? And some people are just, they're like NPCs. They're just, how could you be that dumb? I believe this because I was born with parents who believe in this single religion out of all the billions of religions in the fucking world, and this is definitely the truth. I'm crazy. I'm this like it's usually this really wide-eyed, like they don't blink enough, white people who are just like, and they tell you in the Bible, judge a tree by its fruits. And I'm looking at these people and they're like, dude, are you even a person or are you a fucking android? Like, blink, motherfucker. Nobody smiles that much. You seem like a robot. Like some of them are weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are they just really low IQ or are they crazy? I don't know what's going on. But there's something up with a lot of these people, man, I think.
Damn. So you just really can't deal with religious people.
No, I can. I love, because I'm actually really into theology a lot. And I do like religion. I like religion. It's like, just like I like Lord of the Rings. There's good messages in it. And obviously there's something, that's one of the most important things to you as a human being that separates us is...
Oh yeah, you like Lord of the Rings? Is it a religious experience for you?
Yeah, there's a whole... That's why also I like Elder Scrolls games and Skyrim and shit, because if you read the books in the games, they have their own origin story in religion. And a lot of it starts with a lot of these, make up religions, even though they're all made up religions. So the video game religion isn't really different than. So Azora is like the main god, but these are all archetypes that come from vibrational music that was before time, and these vibrational tones manifested themselves into semi-physical beings and created like different versions of gods to run different things, and like that's like very similar to fucking Hinduism and everything else. But there's also always a main god, like in Lord of the Rings they have the Valor, and like it was started as a song, and then Sauron and the evil beings, Morgoth, wanted to change the song and change the note, and these like other consciousnesses was like, no matter what you do to distort this song, we will find a way to bring it back into harmony. They will always go back into harmony, but they created distortions and like minor notes and fucking shit like that, and created physical realms.
So what's your favorite fictional religion? You're gonna have to answer.
Hinduism. Which might not be fictional. We don't know. But
No, I mean, like your favorite religion that was purely made up by like a creator of a story.
they're all still like, but it would have to be between it's between Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and the Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah, like what kind of religion between those titles or franchises are you talking about? Like for Star Wars, I guess the Jedi Code is a religion in and of itself.
That's a religion, but there's also a spirituality. It goes beyond beyond the dogma. So there's the Force. The Force wasn't created by the Jedi. There's certain people who have it in their DNA to be more sensitive to these other forms of energy and consciousness. That's all that is. But that is always there. The Force transcends everything, and it comes from like there's the wills, and these things guide things, and like create like it's a higher consciousness.
Well, God, good orderly direction.
Yeah, I've been AA. If you can't believe in God, believe in God, or a group of drunks can be your higher power.
Yeah, it's true. I actually agree with that a lot. I like that.
They're like the doorknob can be your higher power. They just try to get you, and like what I think it is, religion. Okay, I learned this from shrooms. I was atheist before mushrooms completely. Like this is all made of bullshit. I was a dumbass. If anyone out there, eat shrooms. I can't believe these people haven't eaten shrooms.
Oh yeah, so this episode will officially be from here on out an endorsement of shrooms. Well, we were going to talk about from this point on about how you should all be eating shrooms. If you have kids, like if the kid's at least like 7 years old, sprinkle a little bit of psilocybin, and
You can't die from it. You can't go crazy.
All you could do is just.
You're not gonna do anything stupid that'll hurt you. Like have a couple beers, you might. The shrooms will guide you. Don't worry about it. You can't OD. Don't take a little and test it out. Go all the way.
Yo, wait. Could I call for a break? I just gotta pee real quick.
Yes.
Okay. And we're back.
We're back from a pee and a beer opening.
That was a nice pee. That was a really good pee.
Did you pee mad hard?
Yeah, I did pee
So-
mad hard.
So when I eat the mushrooms, what I feel like it does is, and people are like, oh, bad trip. It's not a bad trip. You have predispositions to everything, and you have labels in your mind about everything. That's a can, that's a bottle, that's plastic, that's wood, that's up, that's down. That needs to die for you to get free, because everything in life is sticky. Everything has a label. Everything's like this concrete thing, even though it's all an hallucination pretty much. So the shrooms have to break that down, and it hurts in a way. It's mental anguish at first. You're like, at least I'm like sitting on the ground. No, you're not. And they fucking, everything you try to think and anything you try to conceptualize, it just shuts you right the fuck down. All right, that's a wall. No, you don't know that. Oh, fuck. And you get to a point where you become like a baby. You're like, I don't know anything. You feel like vulnerable to I don't know anything. I'm fucking stupid. I don't fucking. Everything is too complicated and vast for me to even comprehend, and I'm just like this little cradly, like, what the fuck is going on? And then that's when you break through, and it's the act of like surrender that brings you to enlightenment. I feel to that point of the trip. And when you finally give up and you say, I don't know anything, I don't even know who I am, what words are, I don't know anything. I'm just a small, insignificant thing. And that's when you finally, you become huge again. But it's not an egotistical, like I am power. It's, you're free. You're finally fucking free. And
When was the last time you did shrooms?
not in a while.
You want to do shrooms? We could do
Because for
shrooms.
me, I know it's hard for me. My ego, as much as I can say I'm not egotistical, anyone who says they're not egotistical is probably the most egotistical
Well,
person.
from what
it's
you
an
described,
egotistical thing to say you're not egotistical.
from what you describe, I have a way easier time with shrooms.
Well, I got to get broken down a little bit. And I feel like that just makes it better, though, in the end. The intensity of the mind fuck makes it coming and being, like, in full, like, freedom even more grand and beautiful when it happens. It's just like, you know, you're able to, like, look at yourself like, that's Brendan. But what you are is not Brendan. Brendan's going to die, and you're now free from Brendan. I'm free from myself now. Anything can happen to me, and I can just be like, oh, that's unfortunate. And I'm not Brendan. I am everything, and I'm just experiencing living in Brendan. Now I have full control. I like to call it disattached and fully engaged. Because now, without attachment, I can do anything I want perfectly without fear.
Yeah, that's how you should be without shrooms.
Yeah, well, that's not easier said than done now, and I think it takes years and years of enlightenment for a lot of people.
I think
you
some
know
people
there's
are-
those monks who are able to, in protest in Tibet, they would set themselves on fire and just sit there and burn to death without making a sound or flinching.
But that's not enlightenment to me.
They're more free from attachment than anyone else you would ever know.
Yeah, sure, they're free from attachment, but what good did they do, really?
I would be fucking scared of somebody who didn't shoot back at me, but were able to sit there and set themselves on fire and just be cool with it. I'd be like, yo, who are we fucking with right now?
Okay, and then what? And then they die, and then that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so, but still pretty wild. They're just like, fuck this shit.
All that really, yeah, but there's like, to me, there's like those kinds of actions, they just alienate people from one another.
Like, imagine if, like, you're sitting there, your wife's fucking nagging at you, and she's like, you gotta fucking do this and that, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah, and
And
that's,
you just burned to death in front of her, and she's like, holy shit.
yeah, that's just alienating.
I know, you just, like, you don't, that's how much you, like, you know, I don't give a shit anymore.
But that's not great. You know, it's like ideally you want to do things that'll connect people with each other, or influence them to do positive things instead of setting themselves on fire. You know, isn't that?
Yeah, but they also don't take, like, they're past the point of an attachment to their bodies.
Yeah, but at that point you might as well just kill yourself if you agree with that.
That is, they kill themselves.
Yeah, so I'm saying if you as a
Just
person,
really slowly.
if you as an individual, like I believe in that, then just put a fucking iron to your head and just pull the trigger. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
but I also realize, like, if you really did know that there's no such thing as death, and, you know, like, you wouldn't kill yourself because there's
what's the
nowhere
rush?
to go.
What's the rush?
Because but also that's the scary part of the shrooms. You realize there's nowhere to go. You can't just be like, end the fucking simulation. I, like, realize that's what's scared. Like, the shrooms, I realize, like, if I kill myself, my body right now, I still have to exist because there's no such thing as not existing.
I think there is.
I don't, and that's a lot of things I realize, and that scared the fuck. And, like, this never ends. It never ends. I can't get out.
No, I think there is an end. You know how you know how I look at it? Like, I look at it as like, it's like you look at a computer, right? And when we make programs, when we write scripts for these computers to be able to carry out tasks, we're basically creating for them. We're creating for them a script, like a play. You know, it's like, follow the script. You do this, and this carries out. You get this input, and this happens. So when I look at the human body and I look at our brains, they literally meet computers, and our consciousness could literally be nothing more than sentient code for the that only the meat
Then why are
computer.
you sentient and conscious of it? It would just be an automatic robotic thing where there was no consciousness behind it experiencing.
You know what that
its
means?
Decisions.
It could be a glitch. It could be broken. Like the fact that consciousness to that level could exist at all.
You
Could
can't
means,
explain self-awareness through
well,
scientific
I'm saying
methods.
here's my like. You know what I think is believable? Like I think, you know, if nothing happened and, you know, primates were allowed to develop as they were, there was no shot that they could become like human beings.
Okay.
If there was tampering, you know, like that's different. If something from there.
Yeah, but even the term like I'm going to kill myself, you're saying my self. Who is the my? Who's owning that self? There's something other than the self. So when you say I fucking hate myself, yeah, you hate that's like saying I hate the character I built on Skyrim. But if that character in Skyrim fucking dies, I'm still fucking here. That was just a character. That's
but
the
if
same,
you
that,
die,
that's how
you're
I
not.
feel.
But if you die, you're not here. There's
no,
the player.
because this is myself. I own this self, but I am not this self.
What makes you say you're not that self?
It just doesn't make sense to me.
How? Why?
Because how
Just because
could
a
it be
video
mine?
game works the way it
That
does?
means there's something beyond the self that could own it and say that's my self. That's my toy. That's my car.
Then what else would it be?
It's a physical being that our consciousness is kind of tied to and experiencing life subjectively through it.
So you're trying to challenge the whole concept of the self. You're saying the entire idea of the self doesn't make any sense.
No, it does, but the consciousness would be localized in that self. There might not even be such thing as a soul. There might be like a
I think
just
sentient,
a huge consciousness of everything, and it's just like almost like, you know, it's like taking water from the ocean and putting it in different bottles, and they're contained in these little bottles, but they're all the same ocean.
No, I think it could straight up just be like I said, like sentient code.
Like every raindrop.
It could literally be sentient code in a meat computer that just got out of hand.
No, we're like
chemically.
raindrops, but we're just in a big ocean that becomes little
I mean, think about it
raindrops.
this way: like your emotions could literally be broken down into chemistry. All those different feelings is like the different parts of your body spurting out specific chemicals to influence your feeling. Like you
Yeah,
have,
that's physical,
You have emotional
carbon-based
states.
reality.
You have emotional states. You think it's any coincidence?
There's something beyond
You think it's any
emotion,
coincidence
though.
that you think your body feels it too? Like anger. A lot of times people describe it as it kind of like wells up in the chest and it grows from the gut, and it's like this hot feeling. It's like literally your body is spurting hormones to different external stimuli, and it's inciting these emotions. These things that we think are intangible can literally be broken down into chemistry.
Well, that's why. That's why I really believe that life is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Life is
Pure sensory stimulation.
yeah. The drug part would be that everything is drugs. Like, what song that Weezer? We are on drugs. That's true. We are all everything you feel. People are like, oh, why are you doing this to affect your brain? Everything that happens. If I say something fucked up to you, your brain goes, drugs, angry drugs.
Yeah.
If I fucking like you fall in love, you kiss somebody, it goes happy drugs.
Could you imagine?
And you're getting stimulated. So everyone's on fucking drugs.
So could you imagine a future, right? I ask you this.
Everything is, but sex is the unionization of opposites, heat and cold, hate and love. Everything, you know, like light and heavy. Everything
All right,
meets
and
in
then
a
you
middle
go into
point.
rock and
So that's
roll, and why
sex.
rock and
And
roll
rock
is
and
a-
roll, everything is vibration.
Yeah. So I asked you this before. I was like, how would you feel about the idea where instead of drugs, we just had these implants that we could like, I don't know, install somewhere on our bodies, like on the roof of our mouth or something, and then you configure it a certain way to be able to like do specific like drug feelings.
Yeah, no, that's just like doing drugs. Yeah,
Yeah.
just instead of having to have a,
You just tell your brain
you
it's
don't
like
have
spurt
to
happy.
have a
spurt-
middleman chemical to make it happen.
Exactly.
Like if I wanted to feel that, if I wanted to feel completely comfortable and just like
Opiate
not give a
feeling,
shit,
yeah.
opiate feeling, I
You
would have
just
to
program
take
that chip. Yeah.
opium in some form.
But if you could program this implant to just like stimulate that in your body and make it do that, then you could be like, I don't even need the chemical. You know?
But you would still get addicted. Because say if you didn't have that implant, if you lost your implant, right? You have an implant to make you
or
feel
the
just-
company takes it away.
You have
Yeah.
an implant to do what alcohol or opiates do, is releasing a certain amount of oxytocin.
Well,
and
you know who they would
dopamine.
give that to first, right?
And let me finish a little bit. So
right.
you have this device that makes you release extra dopamine or oxytocin or something that makes you feel like, yeah, I can just fucking relax. And your implant breaks.
Yeah.
Your body's used to that extra bit all the time. Doesn't know how to do it on its own.
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
natural
So you-
process.
so you go through
now
withdrawals.
You start shaking, you might have a heart attack or die.
Yeah.
Just like any other drug.
So you know-
it wouldn't be that much better. I don't
So you know who they give that to first, though? The point of it, they would give it to soldiers, the military. It would have major.
And then you have a bunch of soldiers who didn't like some. Okay, you have a huge percentage of soldiers in the military that become huge alcoholics or heroin addicts.
Yeah.
That's already
Since
happening.
history, yeah.
So now you're giving it to them. and now they're all coming back fucked up, and you have cities just full of fucking psycho implant addicted fucking soldiers who just like give me the fucking
or
you
they're
know,
just
like,
in this
they're just
perpetual
fucked up.
or perpetual state
You
of
just fucking ruin their brain chemistry forever.
yeah. But they were really
never
good at.
normal.
But they
They
were
can't
really,
even get off the drug now. Their brains are so fucked up that they don't even associate it with a pill. So now they can't even get clean.
But one soldier could do the job of 10, so that would be.
Yeah, but that means you just need expendable people that you hop up on fucking brain chemicals and then just let fucking to kill them at the end. You're just like, yeah, dude, you're not gonna be able to go back to society.
Yeah.
Like you're fucking like we tweak the fuck out of you, and you're just like you're like a fucking glitchy fucking machine now.
And
Like,
you're
just
murderous,
fucking wrecked
and you
your
start
shit.
killing like hookers
Like,
and shit.
Maybe in a couple hundred years, if we did survive as a species, we'd get better at this technology. And like,
But right now, it's like it's
it
really
would be
bad.
so shoddy at first, just
Yeah.
like a sex transition is now. Like I feel like in the future, you can transition and be like, I'm like fully biologically.
Rebuild
like,
your
I
whole
have
body.
fucking ovaries for fuck's sake.
Yeah, rebuild
but
your whole
now
body.
it's just like we can turn your pussy inside out, and they're like, fuck it, okay, do that. We can like lob your dick off and put a hole in there instead. And it seems like I don't know, I don't feel like that, so I don't know what that feels like, that dysmorphia, but like
It's not
I
worth
don't know.
it. It's
Like
not worth
it doesn't seem worth it. It seems like how much is it? Like your whole life of money, and you just got to keep taking it. Okay. So I it's like I have a vagina. I can like feel that G spot and everything. Have a clitoris. Like no, we're just gonna like take the nerves off your dick tip and put it up there and make a little bean out of it and just like implode your fucking dick and make it go inside of you. So you get the feeling of somebody penetrating you, but like the same nerves are not there. So you're never going to have a female orgasm, which is supposedly like 10 times better sometimes than a male orgasm. So you're just going to be a fucked up person. That sounds bad. I'm not trying to be like hateful, but like you're really just like kind of like, you're just kind of fucking around with your body with like drugs and things and like surgeries. It's like the body, it's not like naturally meant to take that. Like we'll get better. If we keep going as a species, we'll get to a point where you can just fully, completely biologically change your sex. But for now, it's a really fucking. It's like, yeah, we could make it. You can pretend. We can put a hole in there. And we can make you like your tits grow and shit, and you have like your feelings will be a little different because we have you on all these drugs and hormones, so we're like fighting your body's chemistry, and you can like, I don't know, it just seems like a shoddy fucking. They didn't work the bugs out yet. It's like when Bethesda puts out a new game, and you gotta keep complaining till they fucking till they fix the glitches. It's still glitchy. But that also means there must be a hyperdysmorphia that's that bad that somebody is willing to do all of that fucking shit just to feel a little bit like they're in a different sex. So you can't really invalidate that because, like, I had a sponsor once in AA, and I'm like, you have to be really honest with the fourth step and fifth step. And I did have some, like, I don't understand the trans thing, you know, I don't understand it. And he's like, would you cut your dick off? I'm like, no. Okay, then shut the fuck up. Because he's like, if somebody would cut their whole dick off just to feel differently, there's probably something going on. I'm like, okay, you know, I can make sense with that. Like, I'd have to be feeling pretty fucking drastic to be like, you know what, just make a hole.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't imagine it like feeling like the same sex organ.
I could introduce you to some trans people. You could ask them all about it.
Yeah, I want to know. It seems like it's hard to ask. I'm like that. Like, but how would you know if you've never had a vagina to begin with? You would just get one and be like, "Oh, this is what a vagina's like." You don't know, though. How would you know?
The only way I could ever imagine is if there was a technology that allowed you to brain dance with someone, where it's like we connect neurally, and like everything your body feels, I could feel it, and everything my body feels, you could feel it.
That is one thing I've always thought would be interesting to. I've always wanted to, even with like when I was a kid with animals, like, you know,
Like
even
if I
now,
touch my crotch, you start feeling it on your crotch. It's like, stop
I'm
it.
like, oh damn! I wish my dick was that sensitive. Damn. probably have the big cums. I desensitized that shit with drugs. I forgot what that feels like.
It could be healing.
My
for you.
frenulum.
Maybe that would heal your own nerves. You know, maybe it would like
ruined my
repair.
frenulum.
Maybe it would repair your nerves just from like stimulating like those kinds of neurons.
Be some cool mutual masturbation sessions with that shit.
Imagine like doing that with a chick and having sex with them while you're connected neurally. You'd be like, whoa.
Being able to feel what they're feeling while you
And then they're feeling what you're feeling.
yeah,
too.
that'd be crazy. I've thought about that.
That would be nuts. Like there's
That'd
a lot
be crazy.
There's a lot of science fiction.
We wouldn't
that
leave the
wrote
house.
That. Yeah, exactly. They would just
Capitalism would just deteriorate.
They would do that
We would just be
all
like, nah,
day.
we're too addicted to this shit now. This is wild.
This
I'm gonna take another day off.
like everything in my life is in service of this now. Just 'cause, like every day, like I just work just so I could have time to like
do the
break.
line, babe. Do the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Or it's like if you're severely diabetic and they just eat like mountains of chocolate.
Oh,
ice
I
cream.
wish. Now, that's one thing I wish I could make some people feel that like have criticized me in life. I can make them feel what it feels like to
Or
have
if they
a
were
low
giving
blood or
birth,
high blood sugar.
If they were giving birth and you tried to do that with them, you're like,
Oh, that would become like a mandatory thing. It's like, you gotta do it with them,
you totally do though.
and it would end up becoming a fucking like if you don't do it, you're a piece of fucking shit.
But
No,
all the old school guys would be like, no, but then the new school guys would make us look bad. Be like, I'll do it. Fuck it. We'd be like, fuck you. That would be really funny. Yeah, this one piece of technology would just be, it would be massive. Just feeling what another person's body is feeling if you're connected.
Well, maybe like we stop eventually evolving with technology and like end up learning how to like do it like through like spirituality, like almost like superpowers. Like we develop more physically to be able to pick up on like it's not like I don't know, it sounds cheesy, like almost like Avatar. They can like hook up their like fucking brain and like feel each other's feelings and shit, or like hook up their little stem from their fucking head to like an animal. And, like,
We could get there
in touch
through
with it.
technology though. You'd have to like,
Yeah, but why does everything have to be like fucking everything up in artificial shit? Like, why can't we naturally progress anymore? Like you think organic beings are more powerful and it can adapt way more than any computer or metal or plastic device we can fucking invent. So why can't the extremely complex computers of DNA, which is like self-conscious, like conscious in a way, why wouldn't that be able to develop instead of technology?
But we can.
Organic.
We can do that through technology. If you use like genetic modification, for example.
I'm saying, why can't the physical DNA just
Because it's
do its magic?
Because
that's more powerful than any computer.
We're both talking about the same goal. You're just talking about one specific route. It doesn't work that way.
Like we develop psychic connections.
It's not. You can do that eventually through technology, but
You
the
would
route
think
we
if we
took-
didn't have the technology, maybe our brains would, the DNA in our bodies would eventually like, and like to create like channels to where we can sense vibrations.
Well, it's
from
not
each
hard
other's
to imagine
brains.
if like people grew
But
antennas.
since we're so busy doing this shit and learning how to do this, our brains, it's like almost like taking a drug to increase dopamine.
Dude,
and your
first
brain
of all,
doesn't do it on
this
its own
isn't that
anymore.
unnatural. You know how you look at it? It's like this: ants have antennas, and these are antennas as a species.
But maybe we
like-
would develop different physical antennas if we didn't rely so much on technology
But
to
what
do
if
it
we
for
don't?
us.
But their problem is they'll always have antennas. At least we have the benefit of saying, "No, I'm putting my antennas away. I want to be with myself." That's what makes us different.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Yeah, but you should be able to turn it off.
No, ants can't. But like animals with like
Yeah, but they're a hive mind. We're not.
exactly, that's what keeps us from being hive mind is that kind of limitation. So therefore, we can still work together as a communal species, but we could also be individual as opposed to pure hive-minded, which is what you're talking about. Like, why couldn't we just evolve that way? Well, animals have a nature, and they couldn't get to where we are because there's so many
Do
limitations.
you think a certain amount of individuality is
Think about it. If you
creates
open up the floodgates where every human could telepathically like communicate, we would become a hive mind. Why wouldn't we? If everyone could literally transmit thoughts, there would be no dissolution. There
Oh,
would
it
be
would be like not being able to turn off fucking Facebook.
Exactly.
Like, actually, we have a taste of hive mind with Facebook, Twitter, and everything.
But
It's
at
like-
least we
and
can
it's
turn it
fucking
off.
annoying. It really is.
At least
Like,
we could turn it off.
I can, but also sometimes you can't. Sometimes you scroll past and you're like, oh, fuck you. And you want to say something, and the next day you're not feeling the same aggressive way. So you wake up in the morning and it's like, bing, 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 bing. It's like commented, replied to your post. I'm like, oh, fuck. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit about this anymore. And now everyone's like, you piece of shit, you said this. And I'm like, dude, I said that like 13 fucking hours ago. I'm not the same person right now. Leave me. I just want to go to work and be humble and like nice. Last night I had a couple drinks and I said this, and now all of a
That's
sudden
mad
it's
funny.
like, can't you let people just pretend
have
like
their
they didn't-
shitty thoughts?
Just like let people.
Like it feels good to have shitty thoughts.
Yeah, and like, but social media makes you like, it's so easy to just be like, boop. Where like, 20, 30, 40 fucking years ago, you had to like leave your house, go to a bar, and then say something to somebody that wasn't recorded. Like, yeah, you know how I feel about this shit. And the next day you woke up and you're like, oh man, yeah, that was stupid when I said that. At least nobody knows or gives a shit. And now you say something on Facebook because it's just fucking there, and you go to sleep and you pass out and you fucking wake up and you're like, oh fuck, oh, is this what I sound like? Oh, dude, I don't even mean it, but I have. And now people are getting on me. So now they're like, you piece of shit. And now I'm like, my reasoning that I had at first when I read what I just said.
You can't just be like, I was drunk. Okay?
Yeah, now my reasoning is going to, you know what? I'm going to defend my wrong position now because fuck you for telling me I was a dick. If you didn't tell me I was a dick, I would be like, hey guys, that was stupid. But now that you're fucking fighting me, now I'm in defensive mode. Now I'm like, you know what? This is why you fucking people. And you fucking go into that mode now. And they make it worse. I'm a social justice warrior. It's like, no, you're stirring the pot. You could have let somebody say some dumb shit and then just like let it fucking slide, actually, because that's what we used to do before this fucking. It's easy to be a fucking thumb warrior. If you were in front of somebody, you had to go to their house and they can punch you in the fucking face. You watch what you fucking say. You really do. There's a lot of people that have been really aggressive to me on that. I've ran into them. And they're like, oh, hey, my brother. And I'm just like, no, fuck you. Fuck your thumbs.
Fuck your thumbs.
You like. There should always be the threat of violence in communication.
There is though.
Anywhere else in the world, when you're physically there, you gotta watch the fuck what you say to people, and that's normal. You have to have respect, even if you think somebody is fucked up or wrong. You still have to have the discretion to be like, I don't need to call them out. What if they're aggressive? What if they get angry at it? Unless, like, you should. You're gonna start a war. And it's easy to start a Facebook war. I get all my other friends who agree with me. I only see what agrees with me because of the algorithm.
What if you're totally prepared for an outcome where you have to physically fight them, and you're like, I'm ready for this?
Well, you win then. I don't know.
Well, yeah, sometimes that's necessary.
That's usually how like religious wars were. It's like we fucking feel it, where you don't. So whoever dies gets to write the book. Whoever doesn't die writes the fucking history in the book about it.
Yes, sir. That's how it is.
But yeah, social media annoys the fuck out of me because I just don't know how to shut up sometimes. So I'll scroll past shit. I'm like, I feel this way about it. Even though I'm like, dude, having opinions is fucking exhausting. Man.
I think it's nice.
Like, do I need an opinion? Actually, no. I do not actually need an opinion to survive. So why the fuck do I have one? Why do I give a shit about politics or anything else outside of my own scope of survival?
I think
that doesn't affect me. Like people who are like, yeah, fucking, like people who are like anti-LGBTQ or some shit. And I'm like, dude, like, just go to work, go home, eat, sleep, and just do what everyone else. Why do you need to have an opinion on this? Because like it doesn't affect you at all.
I think some people have like good opinions because they're actually intuitive opinions.
But a lot of opinions is based on something you have an opinion on. Like I have a lot of them, and it's stupid. I think.
No.
Like I can judge myself and be like, yeah, I think a lot of opinions about outside issues, outside of my own spectrum, that I'm like, I think it should be like this, and like, yeah, but why should I even have a fucking say? Am I gay? Am I this or am I that? I shouldn't get an opinion. Like really, there's a lot of people who shouldn't have an opinion or don't deserve an opinion about a lot of things. Like people who are racist or people who are like, like sexist or something, people who are like, women shouldn't have abortions. I'm like, dude, that's not your problem. And if you just didn't think about it, you would go through life so much more peaceful. If you didn't have to give a shit about some fucking unborn baby being born, that you don't give a shit about.
That's the wrong way to look at it. I think there is a wrong opinion.
I shouldn't care about what happens to other people, like unless it like okay, that's where it gets bad because I think a lot of the anti-abortion people really think that people are being tortured and hurt because of people having abortions. So they think they're stupid enough to think that there's harm being done. Just like if I had to have it on my conscience that, people were being tortured somewhere and I might be able to do something to stop that. So they feel a personal responsibility, but they're also just stupid because they don't really understand. And they don't take into consideration that, like, okay, what about after the baby's born? It's just going to live a shit life because you don't just get a good life. It's just not how it works, especially if you're born from somebody who doesn't fucking want you or can't have you.
Well, you know my policy on abortion. I'm always like, if you believe in gun rights, you believe in abortion rights.
Well, yeah, if you're allowed to shoot somebody if they walk into your house, of fully formed people
Yeah.
who have connections and family and
Yeah.
mothers
Why shouldn't
and daughters.
why shouldn't you be able to flush a fetus?
Somebody's
same
fucking
shit.
going crazy. They have a fucking child. Maybe they're a little bit mentally ill. They come into your fucking house to rob you something to sell.
Same thing. It's
And
like
you
they-
shoot them in the fucking head.
They come into your body. They come into your fucking body, ruining your
Yeah,
shit.
but you can also argue that like they're innocent. They don't even barely have a consciousness.
But the
It's like-
people
but at
break-
the same time,
but
if
the
they're
people
so
breaking into
innocent,
your
they have no
house-
consciousness. That means they're not alive.
And the people breaking into your house could be innocent too.
To be
They could-
alive
the
means
people
to be
breaking into your
guilty.
house could be literally desperate. They might not have any other choice, and they're like, if I don't do this, I'll die.
Yeah, they're semi-innocent in a way. They made a decision.
Yeah.
The baby didn't make a decision, except the sperm that was the fastest, kind of in a really obscure way, made a decision to
Either way,
get the fuck
either way,
to
it's
the
like
egg,
if
right?
it is killing a baby, I think that's okay. That's the one instance where it's okay to kill that baby because it's like,
Also, we're going based on like morals that we made up, like.
yeah.
Every other animal's like that one's fucking defective.
But I'm talking
it's gonna
about
hold me back. I'm
about
gonna eat it.
I'm talking about avoiding contradictions. Like as long as you're not contradicting
Well,
yourself.
cats and lions will eat some of the babies because
Exactly.
like this one's gonna probably be
Grow
fucked
up
up
and grow
It's-
up to-
its leg isn't moving right. It's gonna be a hassle. It's gonna die anyway in through like a couple months because it's not gonna be able to keep up.
It's
And
natural.
something's
Abortion
gonna-
is natural.
I'm gonna eat it,
Abortion is fucking
and
natural.
then I'm gonna eat it. I'll have more milk for these fuckers who are gonna
Abortion.
make it.
Let's just call it what it is. Abortion is fucking natural as fuck. It's very natural. If
They've
anything,
been doing it for fucking many. There's probably ancient peoples like before like written language or anything.
scooping out
Just
the
like
fucking.
they would like fuck because their instincts was like, yeah, let's fucking fuck. I have the they don't even
And
know
they're like,
they don't have
uh-oh.
the word for it. They just see a ass and they're just like they're just like fucking animals, like a dog humping the fucking pillow and they're fucking each other and then a baby comes out and they're just like
and
and
throw
the
it.
instincts just don't kick in. They don't need this fucking thing and they're just like we came from monkeys, man. Like, we did this shit probably.
Yeah.
We just left shit. We just like, let's just keep walking.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do with this? It's fucking freezing. We don't even know where we're going right now.
Yeah.
I don't even know what just fucking happened. A little tiny human came out of my body and it hurt like a bitch. I almost died. Let's keep going. I feel really weak right now. Holy shit! Like most people, a lot pregnant, like they just died.
Wait, hold that
and
thought. I'll
which
be
I
right
don't
back. I'll be right
understand.
back.
Why would nature do that, right? Why would it make it like, oh yeah, it opens up just enough to like get it out, but it's gonna hurt like a bitch. Like, why wouldn't evolution be like, and just open it up to where it's like, it comes out, like, right? Why does it have to hurt? Like, why does pregnancy have to hurt? That doesn't like, nature's fucking cruel.
Oh man, I've had to pee so much because I've been. This is why I don't like drinking beer. This is why I prefer drinking liquor. That's not this shit.
Yeah, but liquors do quick.
What?
Liquors do quick.
Well, that's why I sip it from a cup. Like I don't just take shots. Like if it's good stuff, I could just sip on it. Like
We have this Western song
nah.
here.
See, that's like
Oh,
nothing.
no sponsored? No. I'd like to get sponsored. Listen, I was in Texas, and they had this stuff. It's from Texas. This is Hill Country Peach, and it's only 30%. It's not 40%. It's a little bit weaker, but it's nice. It tastes good. Doesn't like hurt.
Well, if we're actively we could just actively recommend a product. There's something wrong with that. It's like we could literally say like
It's also very cheap for now.
they're like they're not paying us. We just like this. I don't like that shit, but Brendan does, and he swears by it. So maybe it's worth checking out if you're into bad liquor. If you're into liquor, like
It's good. It's not like too overpowering or strong.
oh fuck. Here.
No, I'm cool. I'm cool with it. That's a couple minutes while you're in the bathroom.
You work for a weed people.
Kind of. I probably shouldn't ever really talk about it here because I signed an NDA. So.
Yeah, you can't. I guess you can't disclose any information. That's pretty cool, though. I mean,
that's not cool.
You know, some people like. There's different ends, I guess. Like some people work the delivery end. You work the production end.
I guess. I need a fucking union job or something like that.
Why don't you take a civil service? Well, this is why you need a driver's license. Like, you could become a bus driver. There's like such a high demand for bus drivers. And then after you do the job, you're gonna never bitch about bus drivers ever again. You're gonna be like, oh man, I understand their struggle. I used to complain about it all the time, but now that I've done the job, like I completely understand. Like, you gotta deal with bullshit from the dispatcher.
I wouldn't even like. I would just let everyone the fuck on. I just wouldn't even want to charge them. Like, don't forget about it. And they'd be like, Brendan, how come your bus has no fucking charges and you picked up like 900 people today?
Yeah, but they're offering you health insurance. They're offering you a pension. They're offering you a retirement plan. You're gonna do whatever it takes.
I've also noticed in New York they do not like. If you just walk on the bus, any bus. I've been on a couple buses now, going different ways to the fucking more like fancy Tottenville areas, Eltingville, to down to the ghetto areas, and all the buses, like, if you just walk onto it, they don't say anything. It's like, why do we pay? Because it seems like sometimes, like, half the people just walk up on there like they own the place, and, like the bus driver is not like, hey. Like, and I pay every fucking time, and I'm like, should I just not? Like, what's going to happen? Like, if I get on the bus, they're not going to stop. They don't give a shit. And I also think the metro prices are fucking extortion. So, like,
I think it depends.
Just stop paying.
I think it really depends. I've seen situations where it's like I've seen them like really tolerate bullshit, and I've seen them also situations where like one person just didn't like pay. Like they were like, "Let me go sit down first and get my shit out," and they would be like, "Yo, get over here. You got to pay."
Yeah, but that was years ago before they had that strike. And then after that strike, I think the mentality changed. All the bus drivers, they went on strike. But they went on strike and still, like, wanted to, like, as bus drivers, like, you're going to halt the whole city. So they still, like, went around picking people up and not charging anyone and just closing the money thing and just, like, fucking kept, like, taking money out of the MTA. And they're like, we're going to get on our fucking buses, drive them, pick people up, and not charge them anything. And I think after that made them think, like, fuck my boss. $275 and they're paying me this shit? Like, fuck them. And I think now they're smarter. They're like, dude, I'm in the fucking ghetto right now. They want these fucking people trying to get to jobs and shit to pay $275. Fuck that shit. I don't give a shit if they walk on. If they don't have money and they just walk on the bus, let them. And I think that's how it should be. It should be. They should just fucking. It should be like a socialist thing. It should be like paid for by taxes. We should not have to pay to go to the fucking jobs they force us to fucking work.
So then basically that comes out of our paycheck. So we should all have to pay a chunk out of our paychecks just to get on the bus for free. I don't ride the bus.
It should be a fucking service for fucking working and keeping the city alive. The worker really, like, I'm not a fucking communist, but like, we control the means of production. We control the whole fucking city. The common shit fucking union worker. That's what unions.
I mean, yeah, that's true in a sense where the actual labor is provided by the workers. But there is something to be said where you could have the labor force, but it means nothing without management.
Well, like,
and that's the problem. It's the management class that gets manipulated into exploit. It's not like the big barons are the ones to exploit the peasants first. They have a middleman, and that middleman is the evilest of them
I was
all.
thinking about the other day, and I'm talking about it with my brother, and like, employment, jobs in itself, employment is violence. It is.
Well, yeah, you said that before.
It's an implicated threat. It's,
if
you don't have to
else
say.
loses.
You don't have to tell somebody, I'm going to make sure you're fucking homeless and poor. It's implied. So you don't want the fucking job. But the implication is that you're going to be fucked if you don't take some shit job just out of nowhere because, like, you need to. I didn't plan on doing this with my life. I'd rather do this, but I can't get another job. I need to fucking just take it. I need to take it or I'm going to be fucking on the street in a week or two.
Yeah.
And you do it. And it's really just, it's a threat. Every day you go to work, why do you fucking do this? You know, you don't take your break yet. And you're like, okay, boss, Would you really take that shit from anyone in your fucking life if your life didn't fucking depend on it? So you're taking shit. Like, people like judge sex workers. Sometimes I think it would be better to just suck a couple dicks and make 10 times the amount that I'm making right now, busting my ass, hurting my back, getting up fucking early and doing shit I don't want to fucking do, you know? And it's violence. It's a threat. It's having a boss is like having a looming figure going, if you don't fucking do this, you're not going to have money. If you don't have money, you don't have food, you don't have fucking housing.
Yeah.
And they don't need to say that. They don't need to threaten you. The threat is just looming on you at all fucking times. So, yeah, it's violence. Employment is violence. It's a threat. It's a bully situation. It's a bitch in jail. You better do this for me because I will fucking ruin your shit.
That's true.
It's fucked up. The whole system's kind of fucking evil and fucked up.
But that's because, I mean, if you take away humanity, it's still kind of fucked up. Like, animals are still, like, fucking each other over to survive a day. You know?
So, yeah, also, when I watch nature shows, I see that. I'm like, I think I'm going to get, like, some realistic, and it is realistic. And I'm like, the circle of life is fucked. Holy shit. I'm like, it sounds peaceful and nice at first. And I'm like, it's just like everything is violence. Life is sex and violence. That's all it is. It's just sex and violence.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's making life and killing life, and you can't get around it.
No,
even if you don't want to kill, you're gonna kill a vegetarian. You're killing.
You have to.
The corn has a vibrational frequency. I'm sorry. There's something going on. The trees can communicate with each other, and we just don't acknowledge it. You're killing something. Every time you take a step, you're hurting something. Yep. Every time you feel happy, something else is suffering. It's just the yin-yang. It's fucked up. This is really fucked up. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's beyond being fucked up. It's just, it's life. It is what you can't look at it.
But why? Life is so hostile and violent. Like, even as a human and living in this society, like, you get sick. We can't do shit about sick. Like, as humans, like, we have predators. They are fucking bacterias and fucking colds and, like, epidemics and shit. That can just fucking, these microscopic organisms can just go into your body and rape your whole life.
Yeah.
Just completely deteriorate you and just fuck with you. Deteriorate.
No, that's true. Pretty much. Very true.
It's just always the struggle and violence. There's bugs that are just attacking you and shit. There's mosquitoes eating you alive when you're sitting out trying to have a fucking cigarette.
Yep.
Like, we're still, like, semi-subject to this shit. We have vaccines and fucking medication. We can lower our fever with pills, so that's pretty genius, I guess. 'Cause before that, you just fucking... you had to just get up and, like, fucking harvest your fucking breakfast while feeling like that. Or you just, like, didn't work because it's not capitalism. It's like, you gotta be here at 9 o'clock. And it's like a peasant. You're just like, I'll get up when I fucking feel like it and harvest till as late as I need to.
Yeah. Or I'll die.
But you did it at your own pace and your own time. Now it's like everything's like very robotic. It's very like 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you clock out. It's not like, dude, what if I feel a little bit and I want to get there at 10 and work twice a little bit faster and then get done a little bit later. And I can just choose when to fucking show up and, like, still be responsible about it, but still have the option of, like, coming earlier or later or
Some
leaving
jobs are
earlier
like
or
that.
later. Or finishing up something the next day. It's not like that with capitalism.
Some jobs are like that. It's just in order
Yeah,
for those
some jobs.
in order for those jobs to happen, there's always some guy underneath who has to, like, pick up the slack.
Well, that's where responsibility comes in. Just being personally responsible. If you can have a boss that can trust you, it's like, hey, I'm leaving at 4 today. It's like, okay, you can have that done by this day though. Yeah, I will. And they trust you.
Yeah.
That would make sense. But it would have to be based on actual trust.
Well, it's also depending on the industry you work in. Some jobs could be about production. Like, some jobs literally have to be like, you got to make this much to fill this quota to make these sales. Other jobs could be like client based. It's like you could be like a lawyer, and it's like, well, it's not like court happens. My court cases are going to happen every day. Like, I'm going to have some days where there's no court, and I'm just going to have to do my research. And I could pretty much do that as long as I win the case. Like,
that's kind of what I liked about bike messenger work. It's like, dude, if I want to do 10 packages or 15 or 20 that fucking day, I can, I only got 15 today, but tomorrow I'll just hustle and do 25.
Yeah.
You know, shit like that. Even though they do expect you to treat it more like a 9 to 5 job, they expect you to show up at the same time every day and blah blah blah. But I didn't.
Yeah. Imagine
Like,
being
I
like
kept my jobs. They didn't fire me.
Imagine being one of those mercenaries, like those former, like it's like you did your shit in the army, you come out, you have this training, but nobody wants to hire you. It's just like being another asshole. But then here comes this dude in a suit and a briefcase, and he's like, "We would like you to become a private military contractor," and then
Like Metal Gear.
well, I mean, you get sent out.
What is that metal? What is Solid Snake? Like what is an espionage soldier like that? Is that even exist? Do you wear a fucking butt tight suit like that and just jump into a fucking area with no weapons or anything and just espionage your way through?
Well, first of all, as far as like outside of the context of Metal Gear Solid, the idea of a mercenary, and a mercenary has been a persistent thing throughout all of history. We've had mercenaries since like always. In every war in human history, there's always been like soldiers of fortune involved that said like, yo, we'll fight for you, but you got to give us money. Like, we don't belong to your country. We don't believe in your shit, but we'll fight on your side. You just got to pay us.
Yeah.
And that's always been a thing. In a more modern context, we still have that. Except now, like, like say, it's just like, like owning a fucking pizzeria, or owning like a sandwich franchise. It's like, I came out of the military and I have a little bit of money, and I could start a company where I have a bunch of boys who trust me. And since, our war days, they'll come, they'll work for me and with me. And if like, say like a company guy has to fly to Saudi Arabia or Mexico, we will protect him for, premium rates, and my boys will eat, and, we'll have a business going, and we do what we do best. And it's kind of scary too, because that means like, a corrupt government could be like, we need this village full of innocent people on the rival faction to die, and we can't use our own soldiers. We'll just pay mercenaries to do it for us. And that happens a lot too. Now, as far as what you were saying about espionage, you're talking about intelligence. Intelligence is also a thing that's also a very ancient practice of warfare, because we're talking about like spies. You need spies to win a grand war. That's just true in any case. Like, if you're commanding,
like in Stratego.
Yeah, you need it.
Oh, can we do an episode where we play Stratego?
Maybe, yeah.
You would love
I don't know.
Stratego.
I just know, like, in strategy-wise, you need a spy. Spy is essential to win a war. Because, like, if you're a formidable...
It's a board game.
If you're a formidable opponent and you're against someone who is also formidable, you have to assume that there's they embedded people in your side. Especially if you're in command of, like, millions to thousands of people. You have to, like, assume that they also have people, again, in your ranks. That's just... it's Warfare 101. So that's why, like, Solid Snake is like an amalgamation of that. Like, that's what he is. He's the perfect espionage soldier, because he wasn't born and enlisted. He was made in like a tube, cloned to literally be the ultimate soldier, so to speak. Popped your little beer.
Took a nice piss.
Popped your beer. Fuck, man.
When a diabetic has to piss, they gotta fucking piss. There's no nice chilling and waiting.
You can't hold it.
I can, but if I hold it long enough, it might just shoot out or something, when you gotta pee, when your blood sugar's high, your body's like trying really hard to expel any sugars in your body.
Yeah.
So when you have to pee, like, normally how like you feel like a slow come up, like you're like, I might have to pee soon, and you start feeling it like build up. For me, it's like nothing. Holy fucking shit! It's like I've been holding it in for 3 hours. That's what it feels like automatically, like out of nowhere. So I like when I have to pee, it'll just be like I'm cool. I'm like fuck, go. And I gotta fucking piss like fucking the racehorse,
Just pee right there in your pants.
No, I can hold it, but I have to fucking go pee. Like I'll be dancing around and like grabbing my shit. In public, I have to go. I'm not gonna sit there like squeezing my fucking shit.
Diabetes, everyone. It's not for the faint of heart.
Gotta be a man. Shit.
You gotta be a man to get diabetes. Only a real man can handle diabetes, okay?
Bunch of you pussies without diabetes out there.
It's like
be ashamed of yourself. You just
like you think you're a man.
And weak.
Yeah, you think you're a man. You gotta have diabetes to really understand manhood.
I bleed like 14 times a day.
Really?
All my fingers are bruised from needles. I have to prick my finger and get blood from them like at least 10 times a day.
It is bad. That's badass.
And then on top of that, there's like the 3 or 4 or 5 shots that I take, you know, in my ass and my arm that I just give myself all the time.
Where do you like getting?
So I'm always being stabbed. I get stabbed like 15 times a day.
Do you like it more in your ass or your arm?
It depends on what's more bruised at the time from doing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta put it in the bruise.
You could do it you could switch your ass cheek.
I just do it in public. Like, I hate the sweet. I take the train. It's like, and like I have to do it on the train because I don't have enough time to get ready. I feel my blood sugar. I wait till I get on the train. I test it. I do the thing, and like automatically you should be like, okay, that's diabetes. He's testing his blood. And then I take the needle and do the needle and like throw it out and do it on the train. And like, it's I swear to God, it's mostly like Chinese women who like, just like, will grill me. They'll be like, and I'm like, I want to be like, is there a fucking problem? Like, I'm sorry, I have a fucking disease. And I have to be up and get to fucking work. I've got to do this on the train. Why is this a problem for anyone? Like, a lot of people, like, give me, like, looks and, like dirty, like, they're scorning. I'm like, dude, fuck off. Like,
maybe it's how you imagine if you were just dressed in a really nice suit and you were doing it, and they would just like look at you.
yeah, I don't look like I'm rich, obviously. I look like
even if you did look rich.
I look like I've been a junkie. I could be a drunk. But I don't know. I think I'm pretty like moderately nice, like okay dressed. I don't know.
It's just mad funny to think.
My shirts are fitting. My pants are like, you know, not sagging and shit. I got the hat.
Shooting a needle.
Yeah, I have to do that. Like, they show me test my blood. If I was a heroin addict, I wouldn't have this neat little kit where I'm like testing my blood for some reason, like with a machine.
Maybe it scares them because they think you'll mess up. Maybe they think you'll mess up.
No, it's not a scared look. It's like a. I can't like. It's like a.
Like a stern.
Yeah, it's like a stern like, and I'm like, I just feel awkward, and I'm just like, what? Like, is there a fucking problem? Like, what did I do? Like, stop staring. You're the one looking at. You're choosing to look at this. You don't have to look at this. This is New York City. You don't want to see something. You know, if you see something, say something. We don't do that here. I don't see things. I don't want to see things. I want to get from point A to B and have the littlest amount of like interaction with anything or anybody on the way.
Should get a car then.
Yeah. But you're interacting with other fucking cars and dealing with their bull fucking
But
shit.
you never talk to anyone or look anyone in the eye.
And no matter what way you're taking in New York City, in New York, it's going to be like fucking pulling teeth. It's going to be like fucking a hassle no matter what, like stopping short and fucking waiting for this, getting caught here right before the fucking light, or fucking like, you know, it's always going to be the fucking, all of a sudden the fucking light turns and the train they're supposed to catch is passing by you. Now it's going to be another fucking 30 minutes, or the bus is like, I'm about to come, but like, oh, now it's not in service. Fuck you, asshole. It's just gonna, and then you get on the bus and there's like, all right, yeah, you get beyond the white line, and there's like a wall of people and they're just like, and you're like, I gotta, and fucking, we all hate each other. You know, you have to deal with that. It's just fucking traveling through Manhattan or New York City or anywhere in New York. It's just, even if it's just in Staten Island, it's still like, it's chunky. It's like a video game that keeps like freezing every fucking like couple seconds. That's what it feels like living in New York and traveling. It's like a video game that just freezes every like 5 to 10 seconds for like a couple seconds. It's like buffering. Okay, keep going. Buffering, and that's what it feels like.
You just hate the waiting.
I am the most impatient person I know.
You don't like to wait. You should
I
bring a
don't like
book
to wait
with.
for
Do you have a book?
I
with you?
get pissed off in grocery stores when people are walking slow, like, and looking at things. I'm like, you should know what you fucking want already. Fucking get out of my way. I'm like, I beeline it fucking everywhere.
Do you have a book?
Huh?
Do you have a book like that? You keep a good book to keep in your bag, so if you have to wait.
I used to carry books around. Not right now. Now I have a fucking Switch.
Oh yeah.
But I can't. But like, I'm not gonna do that online. I'm still like, when I need to get something done, I want to get it done right away. I'm not. When I go to the shop, I'm not browsing.
Yeah.
I made a decision of what I want. I fucking boom right here to there. I'm not like, and that's why I get annoyed with people who are just like,
You mean just looking?
And just looking at him
around?
like, just fucking get the fuck out of my way. It annoys me. Walmart pissed me off a lot.
That's what they do.
Walmart's a weird fucking place full of, like, you see people in Walmart, you're like, how are you alive? Like, with that brain, like, the way you, like, people are, like, brain dead. It's like almost like Idiocracy. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco.
I love you.
And it's like these, it's like, what, how did these people get made and, like, function in society? They're just like mouth breathers. They're just like,
Yeah, they just.
and you're like,
there's
hey, how are you? Like, hey, man, I say something to them, and they'll just be like,
yeah. Just responding very.
and I'm
slow.
like, just like, how are you? Is somebody in there? Is this a person? Is there a real person here? Like it's some people baffle me, man.
Yeah. Well, that being said, that about covers our time. We did good. We did a full episode,
Oh.
Brendan, in a while. Anyway, thanks, guys. Sorry about all the pee breaks, but you won't even notice it. Cheers. Hogarth.